What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. Y'all see the thumbnail. Y'all see the topic. So we're going to get into this, right? So, of course, there's another article, and that brothers are talking about with, of course, Kevin Samuels. But more so the manosphere is what I need to talk about. He's just like the avatar for it at the moment, right? Where if you say something about black women, you're misogynistic. But if you say something about black men, it's just what it is, right? That's just the reality of the situation. And when black men talk from our perspective, is a problem. Big problem. Because all of a sudden, we're not supposed to have a perspective. Now, I find a lot of these things not only problematic, but ironic. So I'm going to get into this first particular part of what's problematic and ironic. The stat that 64% of black men are in the middle class. It's the first thing I'm going to start with. I'm going to tell you why I'm going to start with that. And people will say, well, middle class is $35,000 to, maybe to like 80 or, I think you're stretching it when you say 100. But you could, depending on, California, New York, Miami, that type of thing. Chicago, I get it. But in general, I'm going to just keep it from, say, 30 to 80. With 64% of black men in the middle class, those are the black men that the black community, and when we're talking about media, that you're anti-black male to. See, that's where all of this stuff goes left. People are like, what do you mean? Well, and then if you want to add another 10%, because you say the talented 10, you get what I'm saying? These are the people who have are out of the middle class or above the middle class. So you could say 74% of black men are not in poverty. I'm just going to round that number off. So we're talking about 26% of the black male population that's in poverty or incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? Unemployed, in poverty, incarcerated. Some of these guys are working 2-3 jobs to be in the middle class. So that's a whole nother aspect in itself. But here's the issue. When people want to talk about black men, the black men are incarcerated, the black men are in jail, and these black men are getting shot by the police. And we as black men who are in the middle class and up very much so understand this. Very much so. This was our experiences when we were young boys to teenagers to college age or military age, trade school age, to young adults, to grown men. We understand that whole dynamic more than people want to admit. But here's the problem. You don't view our experiences in America as valid. So this is why it's anti-black male media. Because what we say, if we're blue collar or in a trade or we're middle class, it's not valid. It's not, because we're not really ballers, so it doesn't count. And we're not really, inmates, so it doesn't really count. We're, the silent majority. And then when people who have a understanding of the silent majority of black men talk, somehow all of these people in media or affiliated with media just have this coming out party. It's just I can't believe this. Why are you guys speaking? You're supposed to be at work. That's what we're supposed to be, at work. See, we black men in the middle class, we don't have as much time to be on social media as everybody else. So we're not supposed to hear about the things that go on in social media and on television and in the media. Part of ESPN's rise was actually targeting men who were unemployed. You get what I'm saying? So that's why you have all the morning shows on ESPN. They were the male rival to the View and the Talk and all that. Women's daily programs, but there was no men's programs to talk about what's going on with men. So when men start talking about what's going on with men, oh, it's a big problem. Big problem. And the interesting thing about this is the underlying problem is that people do not want the opinions of that 64% of men to be out into the public. People don't want the experience or guys talking about the experience of being in the middle class and how they've been treated in our community. See, people don't want to get to that part. So of course you got to say, you know what? I can't rock with these guys. They're woman bashing. Wait a minute. Wait 1 minute. So now we got a bigger problem. So, for some people it's small, for some people it's big. The bigger problem is going back to Simone Sanders when Luke was doing the piece in is that the Miami Herald, I believe. We don't want your unsolicited opinions. Because see, when brothers start speaking, now you anti-black male media because, when brothers start speaking, here we go with did nobody ask you to say nothing? Now, the irony of it is you get black women talking about black women's experiences and their perspectives and their point of views and their people of color rhetoric, but all of a sudden when black men start talking, your opinion is unsolicited. Who told you to talk? This America is for grown folks talking. You black men, you need to be at the kiddie table. Because if you say anything, it's got to be wrong and it's got to be bashing, even if it's true. So it makes me think, like, wait a minute. Is your opinion of black men unsolicited? I mean, we don't ask y'all for y'all perspectives and narratives of us. We don't ask y'all for that. But obviously, that isn't unsolicited. And the reason why I brought up Simone Sanders and Luke was for a particular reason. See, Luke represents the guy who was a baller, but was doing something that could be looked at as immoral, unethical, debaucherous. You get what I'm saying? So he's from the group of guys that women praise. He would be lumped in with the thugs and the drug dealers and the pimps and you know what I'm saying, the womanizers, the guys that women are attracted to. But when he starts speaking about things outside of debauchery, nobody asks you to talk. But these same women participated in the debauchery, but they can talk about a wide range of subjects. I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. Now, where people get a lot of things twisted with this whole situation is there comes a point where men go, you know what? You see, people think we're children and to the point where we're gonna get frustrated and not talk. Because we have this thing in our community, you never argue with a woman, you never win that argument. But here's the thing. When we're talking media or conversation, we're just putting out our thoughts, our perspectives. That ain't an argument with a woman. So we're not going to get suckered into the realm of, you're talking, so now we need to have a black woman talk with you so she can argue with you so you can go into the subconscious shut up because it's going to be a bad argument. Because one of the things is you find yourself in a position where when people actually start listening to what brothers are saying, it makes too much sense. We're not saying anything outside of the realm of common sense. So now our unsolicited opinions are common sense. Our unsolicited opinions are things people go, yeah, that we should be doing that. But then we go to well, what are you doing? What are the solutions? Well, the solutions are in our unsolicited opinions, remember? But the question is, do you want to actually do something as far as solution based, as far as action? Are you going to put action into these solutions that we're talking about? And it seems like no. So guys have this whole problem because we're watching people say, you know what? Okay, these guys are making sense. They're saying common sense. They're talking their experiences, but we don't want to hear it. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We're going to change the narrative. We're gonna make them something that they're not. So before everybody else gets to see them talk, we're gonna already skew your perspective of them. Now, when you say, "Oh man, you brothers are and that's the irony of that. Brothers are getting lynched in the media and public lynchings and media lynchings. You're tampering witnesses, you're tampering juries by putting all of this stuff on TV. Well, ironically, when black men speak and you don't like it, you do the very same thing. The very same thing. See, it's all right when you do it. It's just when the white folks do it, it's wrong. But when you do it, it's just we standing up to the evil guy who nobody knows, and because you brought them up in this negative sense. And what's funny is it in one way it's trifling, but in another way you got to appreciate it, because what winds up happening is when people have this anti-black male media stance, you forget the same person you're demonizing, the the person that follows you follows them, and they can tell where you're telling the truth and where you're lying. So now you got people going in public defending people because they're like, nah, they said that person is that, but that's not what that person is. But you got people believing it, which brings me to my third point. You got a lot of simp responses. With anti-black male media is simp responses. Like with the women, it goes, all you got to do is tell a black man or a black woman that they bashing women, and then immediately, a guy or woman to go into this diatribe, finding ways to disrespect somebody. But here's the interesting part about it. You find ways to disrespect somebody because somebody told you that somebody was doing something, and you automatically believe it. But brothers, particularly in the manosphere, for a very long time, we've been talking about actual things that happened in the news or on in politics, or things recorded on film. You get what I'm saying? On film. We're not making up these stories. And when y'all think we're making up stories, then a news story or something that went viral happened. It just somehow magically happens. We ain't making it happen, because it's like, hey, this is the normal experience out here. But you people have these simp responses. Since you're talking about the women, I just can't take it. And did we not see in the last week a brother get killed because a woman called a guy and he believed what she said while she was on camera, absolutely lying? What's up, truth? Absolutely lying. And another brother, got into a baby mama situation where the guy comes at 6:30 in the morning ready to fight a guy for seeing his kid because she said he hit. Okay. So why are these simp responses a problem? Because these simp responses have a way of being knee-jerk. If I say that at the least, they're knee-jerk responses. So since it's a knee-jerk response, you as a simp responder don't see yourself as being wrong, and you don't think you're wrong, and you don't even know if you're wrong. You just know you showed up to shut this evil black man down, blah, 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 blah. So it's like, okay, this is what we're doing. And since this is what we're doing, you're going to be a simp responder. Now these guys who are quote unquote bashing, because you got women talking about it, about black men being mean and evil and all that, whatever. And you got, both genders. Let's just say that both genders are talking about it. But both of the men, but the men and the women who are anti-black male in media do not want to talk about the actual topics that brothers talk about. See, that part it just goes over people's head. That part you don't want to talk about. If a guy's talking about a guy getting set up, you don't want to talk about that. If a guy is talking about a man getting accused of a crime he didn't commit, you don't want to talk about that. See, we could talk about white Karen, but we can't talk about black Karen. Because if we talk about black Karen, then that's bashing, and then the woman would say, "Hey, bashing women," and you a simp responder. I hope Mr. Palmer have said that before, so I can credit him for saying that. If he didn't, well, he said it first. I don't care. Then he a simp responder, right? So it's like, oh, okay, this is what we doing. This is what we doing. No problem. Now, one of the reasons I got to talk about the simp response is because at the end of the simp response, how often do you see people in the wrong? In the wrong. And then here's my issue. Man, you know what? I can't keep hitting the thing, y'all. So I'm gonna say what's truth. Appreciate you. Bobby, appreciate you. Trenton, appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Everything's good. So here's the issue now. Here's the crux of this issue with the simp responders. There ain't no apologies. Do you remember when Nate Parker was on his press run for Birth of a Nation? All the black woke people know, how woke things are, and it's a great movie and it's woke. And then all of a sudden, he's a rapist. And all of a sudden, people ran with it. Even the cast in the show ran with it. Oh, I can't. So then they started tearing the movie down. Not tearing the movie down itself, but tearing the optics for you to go watch the movie, and so you can pay to see the movie, so you can get more movies like this. This is what went on. Now, after the movie comes out and it was sabotaged, then it comes out what we all knew, that it was some BS. But then did the people who were in the movie who sabotaged it and the people who were sabotaging it, in the media because they were anti-black men, and he got a white wife. Oh no, he got a white wife. Yeah, okay. But when they come out, oh, that was some BS. Oh, that was some BS. Oh, interesting. So you're gonna apologize for what you did on all those black media platforms and all those non-black media platforms, that you threw this man under the bus and under the rug for this? Because something about that made him anti-black at the time. Because see, this is not just about guys in the manosphere. This is about black men in general that y'all do, that this goes on with. And then all of a sudden he comes out with American Skin, and people act like, what's up, Dana? Yeah, it's all. And I didn't do that, but I'm gonna check on it. But then when American Skin comes out, people, Nate Parker, is a great movie. It's a great story. Da 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 da. And then I see black men and black women Now you can't talk bad about him as far as the rape allegation because you know that was BS. Now you're trying to downplay the movie because it's hitting too hard for you. You know, I don't like the story. I don't like the plot. I don't like how it goes slow. I don't like how it goes fast. I don't like. He's brilliant. Oh, he's brilliant. Oh, okay. So you disrespect him the whole time. So there's no apology to throwing him under the bus the first time. And now, and he was a class act about things. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to keep doing my thing. And then when he comes back out, you don't even try to big him up or say, okay, I shouldn't have threw you under the bus the last time. I'm going to pump up the movie this time. You didn't even do that. You low-key hated on the movie. You didn't want to review it. You didn't do nothing. So there are no apologies. But all of a sudden, since there are no apologies, if black men unapologetically say something you don't like, that's bashing. That's wrong. That's wrong. It's just so wrong. And it's like, okay, no apology. You know, it's wrong for bashing, blah, 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 blah. Now, I got to take it a little bit further. You know, using a brother, Dr. Umar, and Roland Martin. But I'm going to touch on the Roland Martin part in a different way later. See, when Umar went on Roland Martin's show, and they changed the whole format of the show to kind of, you know, debate jump them, you know, on national television, they didn't apologize for that. They didn't think anything was wrong with that. Then people started, you know, coming at him sideways like, what was that? What's up, Ryan? You know, they started coming at him sideways for that. But then remember, you know, and Roland Martin was agreeing, the men are like this, the men are like that. I forgot the lady, and that might have been Simone Sanders. I don't think so. You know, who he started really pushing on his network before he went, you know, I think on News One. And then, what's up, Marcus? You know, Ryan. And then she turns around and basically calls him a misogynist or anti-woman or a possible rapist or this, that, and third. He goes off like, that's not me. It's like, wait a minute, player. Wait, see, he wanted an apology. He wanted to say, you're not gonna do me like that on TV. But it was on his show. While he had shown them, quote unquote, nothing but respect and giving them extra opportunities. That he wouldn't give the black men, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Which is another part of the anti-black male media part. You're not going to give black men the opportunity to speak because, oh my God, they might, these brothers might actually be entertaining and intellectual at the same time. Because what I have to get into, and this is a little spin off a little bit. One of the issues of why people are anti-black men in media is because they don't have as much talent. See, this internet stuff, and then people talk about YouTube and algorithm this and algorithm that. And look, man, the algorithm is suppress black folks, suppress people who are saying things that actually might give people a different point of view. And it ain't just black folks, but it's just a certain type of information you just don't want. And it's not always, it is not in misogynoir and misogyny and racism. A lot of this stuff is just suppressed common sense, common sense material. That's what it is. But more so, everybody having a phone, which makes you mean you can have a camera, you can go live and you can do this and you can do that. You come to find out there are more talented black men who can do media than we ever thought. And they have a point. And they're smart and they're articulate. And guess what? They can speak so well too. They don't have to have the Howard Cosell, Ted Koppel voice. They can just actually just talk. Everybody can understand them. And it's like, wait, that made a point. That was pretty spot on. Or you can understand the logic. So brothers have talent. And that's what you don't want, because what you see is a lot of people who don't have as much talent trying to hoard the spotlight. And by the way, this is why in some ways we say, you know, people, black men are always shucking and jiving and you say crooning and buffooning and this, that, and the third, right? Well, here's a problem with that. Why do we have to have us always entertaining? Because when black men are not entertaining you while they're giving you information, you don't want to listen to it. See, sometimes as a viewer, you're anti-black male in media because you don't want to listen to a guy who's not he has to have a little shuck and jive, a little jazz hands for you. You know, a little jazz hands for you. You know. Yeah, I've been reading all of it. So this is where we at with it. You anti-black male media. And brothers know this. But then the community is like, what you talking about? What are you talking about? Well, even when it comes to the talent with the men, you're going to have two extremes. You're going to have guys who go in, this guy says something I don't like. So, of course, we got an issue. You know, yeah, I'm going to talk about Kwame tomorrow, because the thing about Kwame Brown is interesting is they keep talking to that man like he's a 17-year-old #1 draft pick. He's not a kid no more. Stop. He a grown man. Like you could, I get it. He wasn't as successful as you want a #1 pick to be, but he's not 17 years old. Like he grown. Like you gonna get a different response, you know. And people should know that by now. But that's part of putting guys in a box, you know. Because hey, don't talk about me in these ways if you don't want any response. Yeah, absolutely. Happy Malcolm X Day. Absolutely. Absolutely. So then we got to take it there. We really got to take it there. So you got the guys on one end who, you know, I'm going to throw you under the bus because you're saying something that I don't like, so I got to throw you under the bus. All right, Peter Paul Mooney too, because everybody want to be in. Don't nobody want to be in it. You know, that's part of the issue. And then you got the people on the other side of it. I bet you don't get no action. You ain't getting these women. You ain't getting all these draws out here. Since you ain't getting these draws, I can't listen. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So you mean to tell me I can't talk about topics that affect black men if I don't tell you I just smashed 47 women in the last 2 days? But you have, because you said so. Because can you tell by my swagger that I'm out here getting sex? Okay. That's okay, but we're not talking about getting sex. We're talking about some life stuff right now. You know, GA, appreciate you, fam. This is where we at with it right now. This is the issue right now. This is what I mean by, you know, anti-black male media. Because it's like, okay, let me get to this other part about it. When you people are sitting here listening and looking at people, and they're talking about black men, even in the manosphere, I'm gonna use the manosphere in particular. Us manosphere YouTubians, I still love it. You know, in particular for one reason, because our videos are documented. Basically, you got the date it was made. You have the length of the video. You have the topic, and I find it interesting that people can paint a picture of a person, and you got all of these quote unquote educated people. But when you actually watch a person's content and you read or listen to or watch a person's response to this person's content, you can tell that they actually don't watch or listen to that person. You can tell it. So all of these people, they're anti-black male in media because, well, he's got a 5-minute video that says, da, da, da. That's not what the video said. It's a 5-minute video. So how come you didn't just listen to it? How did you just create this whole narrative of something you actually didn't watch or listen to? Or you halfway listen to it, and anybody who watches it will go, oh, that's not what they said. See, you got people who want to finish your sentence for you when it's up, when you already did the sentence. You already said it. You know, I said 1 + 1 = 2. I'm gonna tell you what they said. See, what they said was 1 + 1 = 7, but they meant, but what they meant by that was they were so crazy that they added, the other 5 things, because 1 + 1 = 2. They added 5 on their own because they're crazy and they're intellectually dishonest. And you shouldn't ever watch them, because I watched them and it was a terrible experience and it was a horrible experience. Brother Rob was popping. And everything they did just made me feel bad, and the energy was off, and I had to burn sage in my house. But what was the topic about? Well, the topic was about, would you rather Chips Ahoy or Oreos? But because, it's the black guy talking about it, it's like he bashed those Chips Ahoy. He was Chips Ahoy. He was chocolate chip bashing. I think he was a blood and a chocolate chip, box. Chips Ahoy is actually blue, comes in a blue package, and Oreos came in blue too, but I don't think he disrespected the Oreos. And it's like, it was chewy chocolate Chips Ahoy. It was red, so he was gangbanging. He liked the red one. It's like, oh, okay, this is what we doing. So you didn't even research what you're talking about. No, I didn't. I mean, I didn't have to. I know what they're gonna say. These are the conscious people we're talking about. These are the people who are so woke. These are the people who need facts, and they want proof, and they need receipts. When it comes to the men, when it comes to the manosphere, and you got receipts, you got the proof, you got the videos, you got the timestamps, you got the minute point, you don't need facts no more. So you're not really doing research. You're not really doing research. So it's like, okay, so what is this about? It's about controlling a narrative. That's what it's about. Controlling a narrative. So cool. Say whatever you want. Be however you want. Whatever. Now, what's interesting about this whole thing is I got to go to something else now. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about the black men and why it's anti-black male media, because a lot of this stuff comes from black men in particular talking about their marriage, relationship, and dating experiences. And people are mad because you're hearing the other side of the table on a date. So here's the problem. Y'all like black men aren't in these relationships too. See, it used to be you can go to your family, you can go to your friends, you can go to your friends' friends, you can have a powwow brunch with women. And women all together can say, you know what, this man did this man did that man did this, that man did that. And I hearken it to, but now what you're seeing is basically a more serious version of Second Date Update. If y'all don't know what Second Date Update is, it's like it's a radio show, on radio stations. All black folks do it, white folks do it, where a person calls in wanting to know why they didn't get a second date with a person, and normally because they did something that the person didn't realize was an issue, right? So, like, what I mean is, it was a guy that went out with this woman. He took her to a baseball game, and he caught a foul ball, and they had a great time. And he calls the radio station like, I don't know why we didn't go back out on a date. And then they call the girl up, and she says, we had a great time. He took me to a baseball game. He gave me a foul ball. So why wouldn't y'all go out on the second date? Well, because to catch the foul ball, he pushed the little kid out of the way. And then you pushed the kid out of the way? I mean, that kid ain't going to remember that. I mean, it was just, he's a kid. It's a baseball game. He's not going to remember that all his life. And then what people don't realize, this is our second date update. We're talking from our point of view. Oh, why are these you're cheating on these women? We wasn't together. What? No, we wasn't together. You know what? You put your hands on this woman. She was trying to kick my car. What? Oh, she didn't tell you about that. That's what I was talking about earlier with the simple responses. See, you're not now when people go, oh, okay. You ghosted this woman. Yeah, she was using me. What? Yeah, she was using me. So I cut her off. I ghosted her. I got tired of being used. What? Yeah. Why don't you talk to that woman no more? Because we got together. She looked this way, then she let herself go. Once again, shout out to Malcolm X. She let herself go, and then she got too big, and I ain't talk to her no more. Why don't you talk to this woman? She got a bad attitude. We went out to dinner, and she cussed out the waiter and the waitress for no reason. Just went out. I picked her up. She had an attitude. I asked her out. She didn't have attitude. I picked her up. She had an attitude. We eating. She got an attitude. We talking. She have attitude. I don't want to talk to her no more. But then people go, what? Yeah. Why did you break up? You need to ask her. Who broke up because he was a dog and he was on the phone with other women? Who was you on the phone with? Jill from State Farm, actually. But whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah, a lot of people. What's up, Punisher? Ryan, what's happening? So now, when people are starting to say, "Wait, is this these guys' experience?" Because now, what you're seeing, and what I mean by anti-black male media, it's so prevalent because we don't want to say that the ladies have gotten so out of pocket that what they think is normal, they broadcast on themselves publicly, which makes me get into another point that we're talking about real life here. Now, when you have radio shows, shout out to Kendrick G for this, and you got strawberry letters where women can say, oh yeah, I fight this guy. I don't know why he left me. And people are like, what? When you shout out to Dr. Tia Son Johnson for posting this, there's a picture of I don't know if that was Twitter or Instagram, but Jay Electronica had a picture of him and Erykah Badu, and he was like, and on this, this the same day she stabbed me in the ribs with a knife, and I needed 16 stitches. When you could post that, and women don't go, wait, what? Stabbed him in the rib with a knife? Like, what? When you can get online and you can run a guy over with a car and hit him with the bumper and think he must have cheated on her. What? Let me go back a little further. When you can be on a reality show, always fighting people, throwing wine bottles at people's heads, throwing plates at people, and then you get into an altercation with your quote unquote with your husband, and that he's an abuser, and then you go back online and you get more fights. And people go, I don't understand. And guys start talking about this is the issue right here. This is the issue right here. These guys aren't talking about real life. Okay. All right. When you can put yourself out here as a sexual object, and when people go, well, I mean, if you keep putting yourself out there like that, people just gonna run through you, and that'll be about it. And then when you want to have somebody real, then they're not going to talk to you. And then you have countless celebrity doing this over and over and over again. And when she's doing it, it's empowering and she's sexy. And then when guys go, yeah, she a thot. What? When you got the situations where you have a guy who has multiple kids by multiple women, but he keeps getting the women pregnant, and these women know he has 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other kids. You know what I'm saying? By 4, 5, 6, 7 other women. But you proud to be number 8 because you're trying to quote unquote get the bag or something. But when guys speak about this, it's like we need to demonize these guys for talking about this. Oh, okay, this is real life we talking about. This is real life. When we talked about the guys who have the child custody experience, We're not even talking about celebrities. How many stories have we done about regular guys having to film the type of treatment that they got from the mother of their children as proof, because the court wouldn't really take it. So it goes viral. It's not like, I'm being facetious and sarcastic when I say it's not like right now, just so somebody doesn't get it twisted. It's not like we haven't seen videos of a mother, cutting her daughter's hair because dad got her hair braided. I mean, it's not like we've seen that. It's not like we've seen videos of a mother, causing a ruckus with a father because dad decided to get the kid's haircut. It's not like that has ever happened, right? It's not like we haven't seen videos of a mother, actually beat up an infant, put it in the car, have it in the car seat outside of the house in cold weather under the garbage for a father to pick the kid up. It's not like we haven't seen that, right? Right. That's not. But when guys bring this up, it's like, what are you talking? Is that happening? It's not like we haven't had the stories of guy brings woman birthday gift. She doesn't like the gift, so she stabs him. And we like, this is the type of stuff we talking about. It's not like that happened, right? It's not like that, right? Oh, okay. So when guys talk about these things that keep happening in real life, it's not like, guys say, look, man, people are profiting off of black male death. Logic, what's happening? Alejandro, what's happening? It's not like people are profiting off of these black males and black boys and black men's deaths and becoming millionaires and not even looking out for the community. It's not like we haven't seen people actually create a movement and get money and donations for a movement, but the actual families that actually suffered the tragedy, they couldn't even give $1,000 to, but they can give themselves millions. It's not like we're not talking about that, right? It's not like we haven't seen that. It's not like that didn't happen. No, it didn't. That would never happen. Okay. It's not like we were watching live shows of women calling in these shows saying, I want a man who makes $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, and because then I can just be me. What does that man want? I said, does he want a woman like you? Yeah, he wants somebody beautiful like me. So what do you look like? I'm an overweight 10. And I have kids. Have you ever dated a man like that? No. Don't you think this is a little delusional? Don't you think you're reaching? No, I don't. And people are watching like, what? I know you're crazy, right? You got to be crazy to think this makes sense. I can just find a guy. Have you ever found one yet? No, but I will. Okay. So we're not going to count real life, right? That's what we're not going to do. What we're not going to do is count real life. What's going to happen is if a guy actually recounts what's going on in real life, these men are evil. These men are wrong. These men are trifling. These men need to, yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell. That's what we're going with it. That's how this is operating. But people say, no, that's not true. Is it? You sure it's not? Are you sure it's not? Because this is what we see pretty much the majority of the time. Now, the reason I brought up a lot of this stuff is real life. Whoa. No, I take that back. I'm going to add, you can't refute this stuff because we're not making it up. We wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? It's a story from here, and a story from there, and a story from here, and a story from there, and a story from here, and a conversation here, and a conversation there, and a conversation here, and a conversation there. And the ages range from young to old. Appreciate it, Bobby. They see it. Yeah. This is what goes on over and over and over and over again. And then people go, I don't understand. It's not like we had uh, a, a brother make up like, let's have a contract with Black America, and a brother say, well, black women aren't and somebody asked the brother, but women aren't in the contract, and the brother says, yes, they are. It's a contract with Black America. Women are black. When we talk about black people, we talk about black women. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Okay, so obviously black women aren't black people. Okay, no problem. We get it. It's not like stuff like that doesn't happen, right? It's not like, you know, men are misogynistic and chauvinistic, but it but it's not like we're the ones creating the shows that make the women look crazy. It's weird, isn't it? When somebody says somebody has a show where strippers prostitute themselves, we're not gonna say nothing. Oh, matter of fact, let me go back. It's not like we've seen guys are not talking about celebrities going live talking about, I had to grind. I had put in a lot of work. I used to drug guys and rape them and rob them. I did a lot to get where I'm at. And to admit that you did that and not go to jail. So wow, wow, interesting, very, very interesting. So it's anti-black male media. Now, let me go to something else. It doesn't matter who's saying it. You're anti-black men. I'm gonna tell you what I mean. If he looks street, he's a problem. If he looks refined, it's a problem. If he looks blue collar, if he looks educated, it's a problem. If he looks uneducated, what he's saying is a problem. If he's a felon, it's a problem. If he's a gentleman, it's a problem. They can be saying the same thing, but it's all a problem. And you choose to say this guy's good and bad on your own accord. And what it makes this anti-black male media is because you got people who are not black men wanting to speak for black men and upset when black men say, no, you're not talking to me. Now I can speak for myself. You know what I'm saying? You got black men speaking about black males politically. That's not what we thinking. You got black women speaking about black males politically. That's not what we thinking. You got heterosexual people speaking for black men that aren't black men. We're like, you got homosexual people speaking for black men and they're not black men. It's like, okay. But then when black men start going, hey, what it is, this, and this. I'm getting paid to tell you what to think. You're not that smart. You see, that's the issue. You're not that smart. You're not bright enough to tell the world what I think because you don't know what I think because you won't talk to me. As a matter of fact, when I talk, it's an issue. It's bashing. It's wrong. It's ill-informed. It's uneducated. I don't know the subject. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not well read. I'm out of my league. I'm in a different field, but I'm unqualified. Now, if you put us side by side, I'm as qualified as you, or I am as unqualified as you. But you have that freedom. I don't. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So it's like, wait a minute. We got an issue. And see, the issue is you can't refute what brothers are saying. This is why it says anti-black male media, because it's all about the character assassination. Because when you can't deal with the actual conversation that brothers are having. And I'm not one to sit here and lie and say there's some brothers who have some extreme points of views. that I can't even. I'm like, we in the manosphere together, but I can't go that far, bro. Just can't go. But there are more people with very much so middle of the road, logical, common sense point of views that make absolute sense. Absolute sense. And you can't refute that. So you're gonna try to go to the extreme because you can't deal with the common sense. You can't deal with the, this is right, that is wrong. But if a black man said it, he's anti-black community. Interesting. And then we go to these arguments of one of the reasons why people are anti-black male is because black men haven't built anything in the community. Without asking something, if you try to destroy my words, or you try to destroy my words before I speak them, as a man, logically, I'm automatically assume you're going to try to destroy my property if I create it. But do it anyway. No. There's no problem with building, I definitely get. But building for ingrates, I definitely don't get. Definitely don't get. See, if the rhetoric is, as a black man, I'm no good, I'm this, that, and the third, but I need to prove it to you when you don't do nothing in the first place, but complain. To complain that I'm not good enough, even when I'm good enough. But I need to build this for you to prove to you that I'm good enough, even when I'm good enough. And then I got to go through the trial period of you destroying what I'm making, because even though I'm good enough, I'm not good enough for you. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna test me over and over and over and over and over again, and hope for me to respond in a negative way. What's up, Derek? It's like, okay, I've been effing with him for 5 years and he ain't respond like that. We good now. Even in that scenario, we'll never be good. We'll never be good, because the issue is you're anti-black male in media because the disrespect is immediate. It's immediate. Men don't need your love, but respect. If I'm doing the right thing and you still disrespect me, if I'm standing up and you still disrespect me, if I'm building and you still disrespect me, shout out like the young brother King Randall. Young brother doing the good thing. And what did Roland Martin do? Disrespect. Did he have any problem, any qualms disrespecting him? Absolutely not. But other people, and we're hypocritical with this. A brother building a school, but we want brothers to build the black community for free and take care of the people in the black community that don't do nothing for those black men. That's what we want. How you can't build businesses and build communities when the community doesn't understand the concept of you got to pay people for their work. And I understand we don't have no money. It's funny how, like I started this video with, 64% of black men in the middle class, but those black men can't go around saying we ain't got no money. The black dollar circulates in the black community, what, an hour tops? So we can circulate money out of that community fast. See this? This watch, black-owned company. This, black. I'm always having something with black people involved in my life. Brothers actually invest in the black community. Shout out to all the brothers who've been supporting the manosphere. Y'all have with views, with shares, with super chats, with cash apps. Y'all the reason that, because people, and shout out to O'Shea, and O'Shea was real proud when this happened, because I remember me and him had a talk, and he talked about it a long time ago, where he was like, Our stuff is not on, up to as he wanted our stuff to be up to par with the white folks stuff. I was like, yo, it's ours. Like it's your stuff. It's your stuff. Make it your stuff. It ain't gotta be their stuff. And what happened was you brothers supported him. And it changed the dynamic of what people thought about black men don't support anything. Because black men support the heck out of black men in the black manosphere. Support us 10 toes down. And see, that's the issue that some of y'all don't have not understood. Because y'all, I ain't gonna say you don't understand because you didn't know. Because when you're in this space, what it looks like when you is the anti-black male media is really getting upset at the fact that black men are actually putting money in black men and what you would consider like a pirate media. See, now you're seeing brothers support what they want to hear with their dollars. And that support is draining the regular quote unquote black media because that form of black media didn't speak to black men. It was more anti-black men than anything. So it's like, oh, okay. So what's going on? And now you're seeing people like, wait, because when brothers talk about all the pandering, it's not because guys were actually hating on people pandering to women. It was because guys were tired of dealing with women who had been pandered to, and it ruined the relationships. So when guys say, look, I don't like these guys pandering, I don't like these women pandering because y'all don't take these women out. Y'all don't date these women. Y'all not in relationships with these women. Y'all don't have kids with these women. Y'all not married to these women. So y'all gonna feed them a lie and leave me to deal with it. And I'm supposed to take her out to an event and pay a ticket to see you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not gonna drive her to this event, pay for the parking, pay for us to get in to hear you pander to her, and then for her to chew my ear out on a ride home about what I'm not doing. And you not doing it in your life with your woman. So when guys say, nah, we're not with that. These men, they never had a hug, they never had a mother. And it's funny because I'm just using her as a reference. You say these black men have mommy issues. And you support Black Lives Matter. And you support people like Tamika Mallory. What's up, Sister George? Logic. You support her. And I'm just using her as a reference. She's an avatar too. A woman who's an activist, who's fighting for women's empowerment, but actually has a son. And when people say, see, when brothers say, this is the type of household I grew up in, where my mama was advocating for everybody but me. He's bashing. He's bashing. He's wrong. This is trifling. This is trifling. Hutch, what's pop? This how dare a man say that? That is, don't you bring my family into it. I'm not trying to bring your family into it. I'm trying to make a point. And the point is, when I know what I said just made a lot of sense. I know it was a lot of black men's experiences when they was young boys and teenagers and young men growing up. But to say it, gasp. Now, why am I saying this? Because these are the young boys that grow to be the men in the 64% of black men in the middle class. Now, see, we want to put up the ballers. And the irony of, and Obsidian talked about this. Shout out to him about that. About the warrior class. Like when a brother is when you don't look like you headed for the penitentiary or been in the penitentiary, you are not in quote unquote the warrior class. So now you're not man enough to talk about black men issue because you're not thugged out. And you're not a soldier, a street soldier. Well, here's a problem. You know, what's up, Calvin? OG was popping. James was popping. Here's the problem with that. Even if you've been in the streets, even if you grew up in the hood, you know one thing to be true. The soldiers were never the leaders. The soldiers were the people who were crash dummies, who were cannon fodder, who were expendable. So no black man wants to grow up to be a soldier to the community, especially if he's a family man. Because I'm not about to be expendable for you because y'all ain't taking care of my family. For the sake to say, he was a soldier. Nah, I'm not finna be your soldier. Mine was popping. Jizzle, thanks, man. I'm not finna be your soldier that you could pull out. I'm not 8 years old anymore, and I'm not your Kung Fu Grip G.I. Joe character. I'm not Snake Eyes to stand out in the street. I'm gonna die for y'all's, but not mine. No. But see, you anti-black man because these black men ain't willing to die for who? Who actually? See, you want us to be willing to die for strangers who are not vetted. Who are not vetted, whether they be men or women. You know, this idea that at the end of the day, you want a better community, but what was I watching? Startup. I was watching Startup on Netflix. So one of the characters, you know, is the Haitian group, is the Haitians. So it's like Haitians, I think this chick is Puerto Rican and Cuban, and a white guy. So they all come together to start up a cryptocurrency, basically, because the white guy's dad is a criminal. So they're trying to launder money. So you got some of the Haitians street money, and the Cuban girl, she's Cuban or Puerto Rican. She's the brains, but the white guy's the financial guy who he got his dad stolen money. Now I'm taking it to this point. One of the Haitian guys, it's war. I'm a general. You want the warrior class to be guys who just go up shooting up everything. Just everywhere, just shooting up everything. I grew up on that block. Nah, your daddy was popping. Sadie, what's happening, fam? I grew up on that block where you shooting every night. Y'all don't want to see. Y'all want these soldiers, but you don't want to live next to them. See, you want all these warriors and soldiers and killers, but when you sleeping in your bed and the bullets flying by you through the walls, you ain't really, you're not really. We need to call the police. You want the soldiers, but you want the police too. And when guys say, I'm not gonna be your soldier. I'm not gonna put you in a position to have you not sleep at night and have you call the police on me. How dare I just say, nah, I'm good on that. And then you not man enough. You anti-black man because I'm the type of guy that's gonna make sure your kids actually live from childhood to adulthood. Oh, my bad. That you don't want a black man like that. I don't want a black man that makes sure we're gonna survive and thrive and grow. This is part of the whole rhetoric of being anti-black male media. Now, I gotta say this, before I go. The interesting thing about being anti-black male media is you got people who are quote unquote intellectuals wanting us to stay dysfunctional. Because the things Even if you don't agree with that, you don't have to agree with 100% of what black men say, what the Black Manosphere says. You don't have to agree with it at all. You don't have to agree with 100%. But the things that are true, you don't even want to work with that. So now you got people who are intellectuals who say stronger families build better, stronger communities. You can't even deal with that because they saying it. So basically, you want to keep us with weaker families and weaker communities. But you're the brains in the community. You're the intellectuals, right? You're the smart ones. Stronger families mean we have more money in the family, which means it's America, it's a capitalist society, and more money means we can climb up the ladder and build these businesses up and have businesses. No, but no, that's not no, we can't do that. No, because you guys are oppressive. So what you're saying is ultimately the percentage of men who are poor or incarcerated are the guys the community needs. The percentage of men who are high value or ballers are the part of the community wants to get that, siphon all of their money to give it back to not really the felons and the poor guys, but the women connected to the felons and the poor guys because they're suffering, right? And the guys in the middle need to get treated worse than the criminals and the poor guys, and worse than the rich guys who people want to use. And you wonder why the rich guys don't want to come around because they're like, I'm not your golden goose or your meal ticket. Because the rich guys used to actually be in the 64%. Some of them used to be incarcerated, and some of them used to be just poor. See, they've climbed that whole ladder, and they know one thing to be true. There ain't no spot in that climb up that people real with them. It's always a gimme, gimme, gimme. It's always the Rick James. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. That's what that is. So when guys say, I'm tired of, you're not going to fleece me. Then all of a sudden, I'm going to actually use my money to make sure the next generation is in a better position than I was. No, you're not. That's bring out the anti-black male media squad. I saw a post when a guy said, with the Goldman Sachs thing, with women getting the 10 or supposed to be getting the $10 billion from Goldman Sachs to help black women in tech and housing and all that. Opposed brother was like, well, why don't y'all keep the same energy y'all had for my brother's keeper? When it was we can't have it for just all one group. But see, when a black man says that's you got to be anti-black male about that because, Black Girl Magic, BLM, we don't want no black men and we don't want no black families. We want these different kind of families. And, it's about the black women and the black gay community. Oh, black women getting money from Goldman Sachs? Black women, I'm a double minority. Black men say, yeah, we need to do something for these black boys. He stole Butterfingers from the corner store and sold them at school for money. He ain't nothing but a criminal when he was at least when he was in 7th grade. All right. So this is what's going on, and people think it's cool. So for me, I don't think it's cool, but I'm done with that. Y'all take care, like, share, subscribe to Die Trying. Catch y'all in the next round. Peace. Finally got a piece of the pie. You hilarious. You know that, right?